She was just another soldier to him. Quiet. Scarred. Taking up space in his unit. When Lieutenant Jake Harlow called her dead weight, he had no idea those words would echo inside him later, when he was bleeding out in Afghan dirt, and she was the one who reached him first. It all began under the blistering morning sun, as 6 armored vehicles lined up for a routine patrol. Soldiers performed last-minute checks with mechanical precision. Among them moved a smaller figure, focused, silent, efficient. Staff Sergeant Maya Collins. She kept her head down, her movements sharp and practiced. A ghost in uniform. She had been with the unit for 3 weeks. And yet, to most of them, she was invisible. "Listen up," Captain Reynolds barked. Final briefing. The soldiers gathered. Maya stood at the edge, unnoticed. Lieutenant Jake Harlow stood front and center, fresh from officer school, full of swagger, with family ties in the Pentagon. He carried himself like a man who expected the world to salute him. "We're taking Route Alpha through the valley," Reynolds announced. Maya offered a quiet suggestion. "Sir, an alternate route through the highlands adds visibility, lessens ambush risk." "It's longer." Jake interrupted her with a smirk. "With all due respect, sir, Alpha is standard for a reason." Captain Reynolds hesitated, but sided with Harlow. "Noted. We stick with Alpha." As they dispersed, Jake called out, "Hey Collins, if you're so worried about visibility, maybe stick to desk jobs." Maya didn't flinch. She simply checked her gear and walked on. Nearby, Sergeant Miller, a battle-worn vet, approached Jake. "You might want to ease up, Lieutenant." Jake scoffed. "We can't afford dead weight where we're going." He didn't know how wrong he was. That convoy rolled out under a cloudless sky. Maya rode in a third vehicle, eyes scanning every ridge and shadow. When Jake's voice came over the radio, mocking her experience, she responded with short, professional answers. She didn't need to prove herself to him. Not yet. Hours into the mission, Maya spotted something. A half-hidden truck near the rocks. She keyed the radio. Possible staging point. 2 o'clock. 800 meters. Jake's voice came back, dismissive. "It's on our intel. Already cleared." Maya said nothing. But she reached for her medical kit. "Always expect something," she whispered. And then, it happened. The first explosion flipped the lead vehicle into the air. Dust. Fire. Screams. Gunfire erupted from the ridges on both sides. Contact. Multiple hostiles. Maya was already moving. Calm. Precise. "Rodriguez, reverse behind that outcrop. Now." As the vehicle moved, a voice crackled through the radio. "Man down. Lieutenant Harlow is hit. We can't reach him." Through the smoke, she saw him. Dragging himself. Bleeding. No cover. "Hold position," she told her driver. "Covering fire on my mark." Before anyone could stop her, she was out, running low, zigzagging through the gunfire. Bullets snapped past her. One grazed her arm. She didn't stop. When she reached Jake, his eyes widened. "Collins? What the hell?" She pulled him behind cover, applied a tourniquet, and shot back with machine precision. "Stay down," she ordered. Jake stared, breath ragged, as she shielded him and picked off enemy positions. 3 insurgents tried to flank them. Maya dropped them with 3 shots. No hesitation. No mercy. Jake could barely speak. "Who are you?" She didn't answer. Just kept him alive. As reinforcements neared, Maya coordinated suppressing fire and directed repositioning for the 50 calories. Her voice steady. Her judgment flawless. Captain Reynolds radioed in. "Collins, we've got reinforcements inbound." Can you hold? Affirmative. Jake groaned as she moved him again. This is going to hurt, she said flatly. Through the chaos, a voice came through Jake's comm, intended for someone else. Hang in there, Harlow. You've got Captain Collins with you. Silver Star recipient. Kringle Valley survivor. There's no one better. Jake froze. That name. Captain Collins. The ghost from the Kringle incident. The lone survivor. The legend. You're her, he whispered. Maya didn't look at him. Just stay conscious, Lieutenant. Later, in the hospital, Jake woke to find Captain Reynolds by his bed. You're lucky, Reynolds said. Everyone made it out. Thanks to Collins. Jake tried to process it. Her voice, calm under fire. Her hands, steady under pressure. She's Captain Collins, he said aloud. She was, Reynolds nodded. After Kringle, she asked for a demotion. No command. She just wanted to fade out. But why wasn't I told? Because she didn't want anyone to know. Then Jake remembered. What he had said to her. Dead weight. His shame hit like a second bullet. Later, she stood at the door. Arm bandaged. Expression unreadable. I was wrong about you, Jake said softly. She stepped forward. You weren't entirely wrong. After Kringle. I couldn't lead. I requested the demotion. I was carrying the weight of 6 dead teammates. In many ways. I was dead inside. Jake tried to sit up straighter. But on the convoy, you knew. You saw the signs. She nodded. I recognized the patterns. But after Kringle, I didn't trust my own judgment. Until I saw you bleeding out, and I didn't hesitate. You saved my life. You would have done the same, she said. Jake shook his head. Not with your courage. She gave him a look. Then that's something to work toward. 3 weeks later, Jake limped through the rehab facility when a nurse handed him a tablet. It was the full after-action report from Kringle. The classified version. Maya had led a 6-person recon team. Ambushed. Outnumbered. Wounded, she held off the enemy for 14 hours. Kept 2 teammates alive until rescue, though they died later. She was the last one standing. 3 bullet wounds. Still returning fire. Silver Star. Medal of Honor recommended. And she never spoke of it. Never wore it. Never used it for leverage. Some burdens, he realized, are too heavy to show. When Jake returned to limited duty, Maya was running tactical training. He watched her correct a young recruit's grip, firm, calm, sharp. After the session, he approached. Got a minute? She nodded. I read the full Kringle report. Her hand stilled for a second. Then resumed. I had no idea who you really were. This is who I am now, she said. That person died in the valley. I don't believe that, Jake replied. I saw her when everything went wrong. He paused. I want to learn. From you. Not just tactics, but how to lead. She studied him. It starts with respect, she said. For everyone. Regardless of rank, gender, background. Will you help me? He asked. After a long pause, she nodded. 0600, situational training. Don't be late. Over the next 2 months, Jake trained under her. She never raised her voice, but her standards were steel. They practiced scenarios. Decision-making. Terrain awareness. Combat reactions. He changed. Grew. Others noticed too. One night, after a hard session, Jake asked the question burning inside him. Why did you come for me, after how I treated you? She stared ahead. In Keringal, I hesitated. Just a few seconds. My point man died because of it. When I saw you out there, I didn't see a lieutenant who insulted me. I saw a soldier who needed help. And I wasn't going to be too late again. 6 months later, she wore captain's bars again. He watched her accept a commendation for the ambush response. Quiet. Proud. Changed. Afterward, Jake introduced her to his family. His mother hugged her. His father, a veteran, simply said, "Thank you for bringing our son home." At dinner, his sister whispered, "You're the reason he wants to be better." Maya blushed, an emotion she rarely showed. Later, under the stars, Jake said, "I got transfer orders. Training unit. I want to keep learning, until I leave." For once, she smiled, "I think that can be arranged." 1 year later, on the same firing range, they stood side by side. She corrected his grip. He smiled. "You know," he said, "sometimes the people you think are dead weight, are the ones holding everything together." Maya looked at him. And replied, "And sometimes the most confident ones are the ones with the most to learn." He nodded. "I'm still learning." "We all are," she said. As they walked off together, something unspoken passed between them. A bond not of rank. Not of words. But of survival. And respect.